The man who would one day challenge some of the world's most powerful nations did not begin as a soldier. He began as a traveler. Before the world knew him as Ho Chi Minh, he worked ordinary jobs across different countries. He cleaned kitchens, worked on ships, lived among workers and the poor, and everywhere he went he saw the same thing: powerful empires ruling over weaker people. His homeland, Vietnam, was under French colonial rule. The French controlled the economy, the land, and the government, while many Vietnamese lived in poverty. To Ho Chi Minh, independence was not just politics. It was survival. As he traveled through Europe and beyond, he studied revolution, nationalism, and anti-colonial movements. He became convinced that Vietnam would never become free through negotiation alone. It would have to fight. For years, Ho Chi Minh operated in secrecy. He organized activists, spread revolutionary ideas, avoided arrest. The colonial authorities considered him dangerous long before he became famous. Then World War II changed everything. As global powers fought across continents, Vietnam became trapped between competing forces. The Japanese occupied the country while French influence weakened. Ho Chi Minh saw an opportunity. He created the Viet Minh, a revolutionary movement dedicated to Vietnamese independence. Deep in the mountains and forests, resistance fighters trained for war. Most were poorly equipped. Many had little food, but they had determination, and they had a leader who understood patience. Ho Chi Minh knew they could not defeat stronger enemies through brute force alone, so they relied on strategy, mobility, and the support of ordinary villagers. When World War II ended, Ho Chi Minh believed Vietnam's moment had finally arrived. In 1945, standing before a massive crowd in Hanoi, he declared Vietnam independent. For a brief moment it seemed possible, a free Vietnam, but the French refused to let the colony go. War soon erupted. What followed became one of the longest and bloodiest anti-colonial conflicts of the 20th century. French forces possessed superior weapons, training, and resources. But Ho Chi Minh's movement refused to collapse. Year after year, Vietnamese fighters wore down the colonial army through guerrilla warfare and relentless resistance. Then came the battle that shocked the world. Dien Bien Phu. French commanders believed they had trapped the revolutionaries in a remote valley. Instead, Ho Chi Minh's forces surrounded them. Heavy artillery was dragged through mountains by hand. Supply lines stretched across impossible terrain. And after weeks of fighting, the French position collapsed. It was a humiliation France never expected. A colonial empire had been defeated by a revolutionary movement from the jungles of Vietnam. But peace did not last. Vietnam was divided into North and South. Ho Chi Minh controlled the North. And soon, another global superpower entered the conflict. The United States feared the spread of communism across Asia and began backing South Vietnam. What started as a struggle against colonial rule transformed into one of the most controversial wars in modern history. American bombers filled the skies. Villages burned. Millions of civilians became trapped inside a war that seemed endless. Yet despite overwhelming military pressure, Ho Chi Minh's movement survived. To supporters, he was a symbol of national liberation, a man fighting foreign domination. To enemies, he was a communist revolutionary willing to sacrifice countless lives for victory. But regardless of opinion, one fact became impossible to deny. The United States had underestimated Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh did not live to see the final outcome of the war. He died in 1969 as fighting continued across the country. But years later, Saigon fell. Vietnam was reunified under communist control, and the man once dismissed as a rebel became one of the most influential revolutionary leaders of the 20th century. Today, Ho Chi Minh remains both admired and controversial. To many Vietnamese, he is the father of modern Vietnam. To critics, he represents authoritarian rule and the brutal cost of revolution. But history remembers him as the man who challenged empires and refused to believe that small nations must remain weak forever.